guys. Quiet. I'm on the call. Hey, Carlin, you there?
Just a second, Aaron. Just a second.
I just want you to know I'm not late.
I'm here, but I'm not there yet. Just a second.
Okay. Okay, come here. Let me see that.
What if you right?
Hey, Carlin, you okay?
Yeah.
You okay, Carlin?
I'll be right there.
Hey, don't drink all the Pepe at once. I know it's delicious.
Oh, okay.
You okay?
Yeah. I just wanted to walk through the office. I'm just burning some sage. Walking through the entire.
Burning some sage.
Yeah, just walking. Burning some sage, just clearing out the bad juju in the office. We've gotten
Juju.
We got rid of, as we mentioned last time. We got rid of, do we have to say the name?
Do we need like a code name for her now?
Just, you know who I'm talking about. I know who you're talking about. I think the listeners would know.
You know who. So some sage to repel her demons?
Yes, just just trying to cleanse.
Hey,
the
guys,
office.
I'm recording. I'm recording right now.
This is something that
Dog, what'd you say?
That's hilarious. Sorry, Colin.
I feel like I don't have your undivided attention, Aaron.
Listen, I gotta tell you something. I guess I should start from the beginning. So Bama Dog is up here with me. With a couple of his friends.
Are
Scott,
you
do
in
you remember?
Alabama?
No, he came up here to Nebraska. He did a long road trip with Scott. You remember Scott from my solo episode?
Hey, Carl.
Sorry.
So him and Scott and Bama Dog's friend John, they road tripped up here to Nebraska so we can get to work. And let me tell you, it's been an amazing week and a half, and we're getting stuff done. We're finally accomplishing some stuff for the podcast for our mission. I'm sorry to hear that you have bad juju in the office, but I don't really know what's been going on there, but we've been busy. We've been doing stuff.
Huh. Okay.
What do you think about this picture right here?
Huh.
Scott, yeah. Just brighten that up a little. Brighten
Brighten up what?
In the title?
I think if you lose the in that title, then that works okay.
Wait, what title of what?
Sorry. We're doing some.
You think the title's okay?
No. Yeah, that way.
You should move that to the left side.
We're editing some photos here for Bama Dog's new website to become the next James Bond. We're making a marketing plan, a campaign plan. It's been going great.
Okay, well,
Scott's up here, and he quit his job. He quit his job on the construction site to come up here and help Bama Creative Group
Yeah, I quit my job.
help the
What about
James
it?
Pod podcast.
It doesn't sound like you're helping the podcast. It sounds like you're helping
What are you
Alabama
talking
Dog.
about?
It sounds like
Helping-
you're helping. Look, I have some ideas for the podcast. Things that
Helping Bama Dog
my-
is helping the podcast.
my mastermind group, but
it's
even
been
more
proven
than that,
time and time again.
the marketing firm that I have hired, they have
The mastermind
inspired
group.
me to set goals for our podcast. And it sounds like you're off doing your own thing with these people. I don't even know who they are. I'm not there. For some reason, you've completely not included me.
Bama Dog, put the bacon down. Put the bacon down.
Are you gonna record the show with me now, or are you
I'm
gonna work on that stuff?
I'm right.
Dog,
I'm
what'd you
talking
say?
to you, Carlin. I'm
Were
talking to
saying
you.
something to me?
Look,
So
I got
are
a
you
new
there-
goal
you're
for
there,
this
you're there,
show.
You're there all by yourself right now, right?
Yeah.
So what have you been doing? What have you been doing? That's high level goal worthy this past month.
Look, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. I have, who, the person we're not talking about. Do you know what happened? Did you have any idea about this? Did you have any
About what?
idea?
Fill me in.
Did you know that she was on another podcast? She actually appeared on
What?
another podcast, and she said horrible things about me.
Was it Bames John Dean?
It wasn't Bames Johnding. Look, you know
thank
how we
God.
are. We don't name names. I mean, we've named podcast names. We've mentioned.
We've named #_
Bond
age
underscore age. Yeah, we've
hashtag
named them.
Parenthesis Bond. Yeah.
We haven't named Bames Jonding. I don't even know if I want to name this podcast that this person was on. I don't even know.
Was she a guest or did she start her own podcast?
She was a guest. She was a guest on a podcast, and she went on there. This was when she was still working here. I had no idea. The more I dig, the more I am horrified.
So why would anybody ask QK to come on their podcast to be a guest or an expert? I mean, we never even brought her on our own podcast.
I know.
What does she know?
I don't know. I'm completely horrified.
She lost notes. She didn't even... all she cared about was Cigar Girl.
Yeah, a little bit too much, but not really in any kind of way that was helpful.
No. So what did she do? What did she talk about?
I don't even know. Like I said, I don't want to name names, but if you wanted to look up the show Feek Gall Out, then you might be able to find it. Because again, we're not naming names.
QK.
Anyways,
did she smack talk us? Did she reveal
me?
Oh, you?
Yeah.
She does? Was this before or after she was fired?
This was before we made the mutual agreement. We didn't let her go. We didn't fire her. We don't fire. Yeah. That's not what we do. We made a mutual agreement that she wasn't going to stay with Pod James Pod Incorporated.
Did she ever mention my name or Bama Dog's name?
Not that I can remember.
Hey Scott, is that Peppy?
You want some Peppy?
Can you pour me a cup real quick?
A whole cup? You're gonna drink a whole cup of Peppy? Like a whole cup of it?
Listen, we've been getting stuff done, Carlin. I don't think you understand, and I need as much Peppy as I can get.
What kind of things have you been doing? Because here's my concern. I've been talking with my mastermind group. I've been talking with my marketing firm.
Oh, here we go.
And they have been giving me some goals to set for the podcast. And I want to share my goals with you. And these are
more sugar next time.
Expectations I have of everyone who's a part of this podcast. And that's me. That's you. That's Alabama Dog. That's all these other people that you're talking about. That's the people that help me. Everyone needs to work together.
At least I'm working with people. Where are you? I feel like you are so away from what's actually happening. Put the sage down.
I might have burnt too much sage, actually. We're on episode 0024 of this podcast. By
monumental number
26, I want us to be at 6 million downloads. 6 million downloads. We can do it. In 2 months, we can turn this show around. We can make it even bigger and better. 6 million downloads. That's what I want. Every episode, 6 million downloads.
Hey guys.
So
Carlin wants us to be at 6 million downloads by episode 0026. I'm sorry. Continue, Carlin.
You can make a decision. Do you want to be a part of this podcast and work towards that goal?
Listen, why 6 million? Why 6 million?
Well,
is this part of your marketing company that you hired? Is that what they've promised?
Yeah, they've promised me a marketing plan. They're going to deliver to me a marketing plan that's going to, if we enact it, we're going to be at 6 million downloads.
I think we need lots more hot babes.
In 2 episodes. But it's going to take everybody. It's going to take everyone to be involved.
Wait, we are involved. The only part of this company that seems to be lacking in involvement is a Tallahassee headquarters.
We've done so much. It's because of me and my connections to the mastermind group that we even have a chance at winning a potty.
Don't talk about potties to me. I'm the only one that's actually has a potty sitting in his house.
So what are you doing? What are you working on? You got people there and you're working on stuff?
We're doing social media blasts. We're doing full citywide campaigns. We're going to London. We're going to LA.
We're working really hard.
We're putting his picture up on billboards, up on buildings.
Where's everybody sitting?
We're building a website.
Your office. How many? Like you don't have that many places to sit.
We're flexible, okay? I don't need to buy 50 desks and 50 chairs so that two people can sit around them. Bama Dog has the entire backyard. He loves it. Right now, we're working on a website and a bunch of personalized blog posts that we're writing for Bama Dog to help his campaign.
Wait, you're writing his post? Why doesn't he just write his own post?
We're giving reasons as to why he should be the next James Bond.
All right, what are some reasons?
What do you mean?
No, I know the reasons.
You know the reasons.
I know the reasons.
We've been giving them.
You're writing blog posts.
Why do I have to explain to you any reasons why Bama Dog should be the next James Bond?
Well, you don't have to explain it to me.
But you
have to explain it to Janice. I'm sure Janice is wondering. She's at home. She's listening. She's gonna write in. She's like, hey.
You know, I didn't get any. No, she wouldn't say full sentences like that. She didn't even write me a fan letter this past month after.
Because she loved
the shenanigans. No, since the past shenanigans that you pulled. On the mastermind call on the Die Another Day episode.
People loved it.
I'm afraid we've lost Janice as a fan. I'm afraid we have.
Why do you think that?
Because she didn't write to me. And she's written to me through thick and thin.
Through thick and thin. You've referenced her twice.
Listen, I don't bring her up every episode because I like to respect our personal correspondence. Okay? I don't need to read aloud every single fan letter I get. I'm not so vain like you might be.
Do I read fan mail? Do I sit here and read fan mail?
I assume you don't get any, otherwise you would.
Oh, I get fan mail. Believe me, I get plenty of fan mail.
Should I send this to everybody to get feedback?
It's Carl. No, he doesn't need to see that. He doesn't need to see that.
I need to see it. Why are you not involving me? What's this about? Why are you not including me?
Alabama Dog. Hey, what do you think about this for a commercial? What do you think about this for a TV commercial? Yeah, do you think we should run it in Canada? I don't know French.
Oh, my TV commercial idea that came out of the marketing.
Do you have somebody who can translate in the French?
Who is James Pod? That's the commercial idea? You want to go forward with that idea now?
No. French. We need like a person to translate.
What if,
so we can do a global commercial? Global.
What if you had a close up of somebody's hands and he like has like a Rolex on his watch, you know, when he's pouring a martini, it's just close up of his hands, and then you like cut and you see.
Listen,
like,
Carl, we've got it covered. Thank you. I'll consider. I'll share it with the team.
And there's like a voiceover, and it's like,
I think we've got it covered. Just leave the creative to our office, okay?
James Pod. He's a podcaster. You know, it's got this like some sort of voiceover, like, but you never see his.
Carlin, that's great. It's great.
You never see his face, you know.
Yeah, I'm writing all of this down.
That's what I was gonna pitch to you this time.
I think we need lots more hot babes.
Yeah, guys, just
what do you guys think about this direction?
Keep storyboarding that idea right there. Yeah, Carlin, that sounds great. That's great. We'll get to work on that right away.
All right, this is episode 0024. We're going to talk about A View to a Kill from 1985. This is Roger Moore's
we've been doing nothing but talking A View to a Kill.
Seventh and final movie from Roger Moore. So this was a movie that I first saw. I think I talked about this before. I went through. I saw GoldenEye for the first time. That was the first Bond movie I watched, and I went back and I caught up on every other Bond movie previous to that. But I kind of watched them all out of order, and this was among the last ones that I watched, and I absolutely hated this movie. Hated it. And so I always kind of have this feeling of dread when I have to watch it for some reason, but I feel like I've softened on it a little bit. I've turned around. I don't absolutely hate it, but we'll talk more about where I land on this near the end of the show. But
so I think it's interesting that you started with GoldenEye, and you said that when you were first watching these Bond movies before you became an expert, for the first time you ended on A View to a Kill, since we talked about in episode 001 how in GoldenEye, Pierce Brosnan's Bond, at the very beginning, takes place 10 years prior.
Nine
to
years later, but
1985.
whatever. You don't, you
9 years
didn't
prior.
win 007 seen it, so you don't.
Oh my
you wouldn't
gosh.
know. 007 seen it.
So technically, Roger Moore from A View to a Kill is still Bond during the beginning of GoldenEye.
Right.
So there's that the multi universe of Bond still going on. So when you first watched this, like why do you think it stood out like you hated it compared to the previous films that you'd seen?
I don't know. I just feel like I think a lot of it was just that everyone, especially Roger Moore, but even some of the other characters, just were, and it sounds like I'm a horrible person, but he's old. He's an old man now, and
Of course, yeah, he's old. He's very old.
and some of the things don't come across as all that believable. And right off the bat, we get that with the snowboard scene, and that happens a lot in this movie where there's times, like even at the beginning, where I'm like, okay, I can buy this, and I'm actually even enjoying I think the score of this movie is great.
It's great.
It's got a serious vibe to it. A real like, oh wow, it's like kind of got a haunting sort of sound to it.
Yeah.
And then in the middle, like right in the middle of this chase scene, then suddenly they're playing Beach Boys, and I hate that. And it's just like that kind of stuff, plus the fact that it's like we're just past the point of me believing that that's actually Roger Moore.
Roger Moore. And not every single shot that actually you see his face is rear projected.
Right.
So I'll be upfront with you. As we've previously stated on the show, that I started watching James Bond movies like when I was really little. And A View to a Kill, besides GoldenEye having some of the most, like one of the most influential movies on me, like when I was younger, A View to a Kill was, I'd probably put that at a close second as being the movie I saw the most as a younger kid. And I don't know why. I think it partially because maybe it was on TV the most. It seemed like A View to a Kill was always on TV. And any time the James Bond movies, like the marathons were on during Christmas, whether it was TNT or Spike or any channels that, or AMC or wherever.
Well, you're trying to get sponsor dollars from these channels? I mean, what gonna mention them all? A Nickelodeon, Disney
It's
Channel.
so nostalgic for me. It's like I know every single little bit that's going to happen next, and it's really hard for me to judge this movie critically the way I need to for our podcast. But I'm gonna do my best.
Well, do your best. That's what the
I always do
listeners
my
are
best.
expecting. That's what Janice is expecting, and that's what all of my hundreds of fans are expecting. And
hundreds
here,
of fans?
in a couple of months, that's what
What?
6 million people are going to expect.
6 million.
6
So
million.
is that 6 million people for that single episode?
6 million people
0026?
downloading each episode. 6 million downloads per episode.
Oh, wait. So 26 episodes times 6. That's how many millions of people.
No, not necessarily million. They might be the same people downloading the episodes, but every episode will be downloaded 6 million times. Look, that is a simple goal. Let's get to it, okay? So this movie is pretty much Goldfinger.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, I think Zoran's plan is maybe a little bit more thought out than Goldfinger's plan was. Like we stated before, Goldfinger's plan was like
He learned from Goldfinger's mistakes, obviously.
Yeah, he obviously learned from Goldfinger's mistakes, since Goldfinger got demoted to the James Bond Jr. cast of villains. So maybe we need to talk a little bit about Zoran, Christopher Walken.
Yep.
It's like the guy was bred to be a villain in movies.
Yep. I like him in this. I think he's great. I love the whole idea of him being, a little crazy in the backstory of the character. Though I say that, I almost wish he had been saved for one of the Brosnan movies. If he had just
Okay.
been like, it had been a little bit later in Walken's career. Like he's fine in this, but I think he gets better, even better later. And I would love to have seen Brosnan go up against Christopher Walken.
Yeah, that's an interesting idea of different villains being saved for different actors. You know, what kind of chemistry works and what kind of chemistry doesn't work. I think in my mind, he's one of my favorite villains in all of Bond lore. And I think it's, you know, Roger Moore, I think, is one of the weaker actors. So naturally, I would have preferred to see Zorin up against a Pierce Brosnan, or even save him for like a Daniel Craig movie or something like that. That may be a little bit more far fetched, but I can kind of see that. I agree. I think he's definitely the best of, well, him and the Man with the Golden Gun.
Oh yeah,
I think it's between them.
Scaramanga is one of the best, and
Yeah.
both of those would be more.
As far as Roger Moore's villains that he goes against. And I like that in A View to a Kill, Zorin is introduced almost immediately. And I really, really like the way they introduce his character in this film. From a distance, from afar, and we get very detailed characteristics about him and about Mayday and about their relationship almost immediately. And I think Bond's introduction into Zorin is a very slow build. Like, it's a very good natural rivalry.
Mm-hmm.
As far as intellect, as far as technology, as far as the horses, as far as women. I think it's a really good rivalry that's built with Bond versus a lot of villains that we see in a lot of other Bond movies. And I think that's what makes The View to a Kill a stronger film, is because it does have a good... there's just a good banter between him and Bond. And I really like that.
Yeah, well, and speaking of banter, I think that one of my favorite parts about this movie, and what I wish had continued even longer, is the rapport that he and Patrick Macnee have. Patrick Macnee being essentially, it turns into like a bit of a buddy spy film, the first half of the movie, with him and Diana Rigg, co-star from the old UK Avengers show. And of course, Honor Blackman was on that show before Diana Rigg, The Avengers. And so Macnee, I think, had been off of... the Avengers had run in the 60s, and then they had done another series in the 70s, and so he hadn't been doing it for a while. But it was cool to see the two of them together, both of them being these... maybe John Steed isn't quite at the level of James Bond, but still, the two of them, very strong actors in playing very strong characters, and I certainly loved the character between the two of them. I almost wish, not even almost, I would love to have seen Tanya Roberts not show up at all, and it just be Patrick Macnee essentially filling the role of the sidekick character the whole movie.
I mean, it was funny. We got to actually see them be spies, listening for the sound device or the microphone in the room. And he had his own separate little missions, like going into the stables and trying to find different areas, whereas Bond was doing something else. It was almost like a little sidekick with Bond, but they were both undercover as different personalities. Yeah, I totally would have loved that.
Well, and the whole him playing the chauffeur and the...
Yeah.
Like the
going to wash the cars,
the little jabs, and it's like just kind of like rolling his eyes at Roger Moore, at Bond, and that stuff was funny.
And he just gets done washing the car, and Bond tells him to go wash the car, so he throws the bucket of dirt on it, and then of course he gets murdered in the car wash with Mayday. And I don't know how he didn't see Mayday get in that car, or like no, that Mayday was in the car. Speaking of Mayday, one of the most peculiar, I guess, mystifying henchmen, sidekicks that I can think of. She's definitely one of the most memorable parts of this film. I mean, Grace Jones just has this very striking presence. I mean, she's a strong, beautiful woman, and I think immediately Well, something that always sticks in my mind because I saw this when I was a little kid, and this always stuck out to me was when James Bond is sneaking back into Zoran's palace, and he sneaks back into her room, and she goes back. You know, her and Zoran are looking for Bond, and she goes back into her room, and Bond's there in her bed waiting for her, and Zoran like basically like orders her into sexual.
Well, his look is like, I guess go ahead. Let's see where this goes. Like,
I feel so bad for her, and it's so confusing because they obviously don't have any or her and Bond obviously have no chemistry because the last time they came across each other were when he was trying to get in Zoran's office, and she looked at him through the glass door and like yelled at him to get away. Yeah, it took me by surprise. Like, okay, I guess Bond just has to seduce every single woman in every single movie for no reason.
Yeah, well, I think the other part of her character I think the thing I don't like the most, but I don't know of a way around it, is the turn, and I feel like this is another way that it's like Goldfinger, is that somebody working for Zoran turns on him, just like Pussy Galore turns on Goldfinger, but it's that turn just seemed a little bit too convenient.
It seemed like there wasn't really much buildup of any tension between the two, but where she turns and ends up sacrificing herself for the save people and get back at Zoran.
Well, I think they could have built it up more, like you were saying, that earlier scene where Zoran just sends her on in with Bond. There could have been a point there where she's already sort of questioning Zoran that early in their relationship.
Yep.
But they don't build on that enough. It's just sort of at the end, it's like, oh, he turned on me? Well, fine, I'll help Bond then. It's got that kind of vibe more than it's got like we've kind of seen this coming.
I think there needs to be like a Mayday spin-off movie. Great.
There should be a spin-off movie with Mayday and Jinx.
With Mayday and Jinx?
Yeah.
What about with Good Night and Mayday?
Oh, of course.
Of course.
Day and night.
Good. Get it? Do you get it?
Don't give that idea to your people.
I couldn't help but think, after what happened with QK last month.
Don't say her name.
How much QK would have loved Stacey Sutton in this film, with the loud, obnoxious cat. That I think that's the loudest part in the film, is when the cat screams across the stairs, and we see it in the kitchen. I was just thinking, oh, QK's gonna love this character. I hope Carlin doesn't make her watch this movie for him, and then I realized, oh, QK's not even here anymore. So, QK, if you're listening,
why do you keep saying
you are, her name?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
The thing about Tanya Roberts is, she's played other stronger characters before. She's in Beastmaster, and she's one of the Charlie's Angels, and like in this movie though, she comes across very much as the helpless damsel in distress, and she does a lot of screaming, and doesn't do as much.
James.
Yeah, doesn't do as much
iconic James.
Yeah, and and we've had. Well, I guess this doesn't just follow For Your Eyes Only, but we had a much stronger Bond girl in For Your Eyes Only that could carry her weight as far as action and being a part of the fight. And I think that's what I think that Tanya Roberts could have done that. She could have played that part.
I suppose. I mean, she does have admirable qualities about her in terms of her.
I bet know what admirable qualities you think she has.
Listen. I mean, she obviously has standards. She rips up Zorn's check because she doesn't want to give him the rights to the oil. She's loyal to her family. And she's trying to sell everything. Yeah, I mean, I think as far as the action, as far as being a damsel in distress, yes, I'll agree with that. But I think it's not too far off from most Bond girls. I think there's only maybe a handful of Bond girls that I could say are legitimately not damsels in distress.
Well, that's we're not talking about other Bond girls. We're talking about.
You brought up the other Bond girls.
Yeah, but in the sense that I'm saying that she could have been a stronger character. Like, we've seen other stronger characters before. That's what she could have been. Now, yeah, are there other damsels in distress? Sure, there are. Do they have to be that way? No, they shouldn't be.
Fine. Right. She could have been a stronger character. I'll give you that.
All right.
They didn't do her a great deal of justice. I would have either would have wanted them to spend more time developing Mayday's turn, or spend more time giving Stacy some sort of quality where she's useful at the end, or can stand up for herself. Anything like that.
Yeah, like if she was like really good at parkour, that'd been great. Like there at the end.
If she could rappel down the Golden Gate Bridge, like on her own, that would have been great. I will say that there is one scene in this movie that I think is odd.
Just one?
There are a couple, just one. There's one scene that I guess stands out to me. It's the opening horse race scene where we first are introduced to Zorn, and they're watching the horse races, and everybody from MI6 is there. Why is everybody there? Why wouldn't they, in every other movie, they would send Bond on his mission, but for some reason, M, Moneypenny, Q, everybody is there. I just don't understand it. And there's no reason why everybody has to be at this horse race. I think it's the first time, or maybe the only time in James Bond movies where everybody is there, and there's real no reason for them to all be there at once.
I don't know if I have a story reason for it, but I think I have a non-story reason for why.
Okay.
And I think that they knew this would be it for this cast, and they brought them all. They just wanted to give them more screen time. I guess Q's there, and Q kept showing up, but
so you're saying that they had a big party at the horse races, and they just spent like 15 minutes to film one or two scenes.
Yeah, I'm saying it, so that's what happened. Yeah.
You know what? I think you're right. So this was the last scene that they filmed in the movie chronologically. They filmed, or out of chronological order, they filmed this scene last to be like the big rap party.
The rap party, yeah.
On the cast. So at this point, does Roger Moore know he's not going to do any more Bond movies? Did he find? I didn't read his book like you did. I'm not the Roger Moore expert. Well, of course I am. But had he come out and said that this was going to be his last movie?
I think that he had decided that at some point, that there had been a lot of talk even before, like going into it. Like even Sean Connery was being vocal, like, I think that guy's too old. Or that guy's too old to be Bond.
That guy's too old to be Bond.
We talked about this before with Living Daylights, and how that script feels like a more script in some ways, but
it totally is.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think it was a script, and I don't know if they necessarily knew for sure that Moore wasn't coming back. But I think everyone sort of, kind of like how it is around here. They all sort of mutually decided it would be the best for them if Roger Moore didn't come back.
You're talking about QK.
7's a good run. That's a good run, Roger Moore. Good job. 7 movies. Good job.
The most ever.
Well, yeah, except for Connery did have a 7th movie, but not official 7th movie.
That is Earth 2. James Bond.
James Bond, yeah.
So that doesn't count. Just like we didn't count that movie on our ratings.
I know. I'm just saying that there were 7 James.
If you were dedicated, you would know that.
I do know,
and
that.
not even bring it
dedicated.
Up. Our fans are dedicated.
I think it's worth mentioning. I think people would write letters and be like, "Well, actually, did you know that Sean Connery played
You're pretending
James
that people
Bond?"
would write letters to you.
I'm not pretending. It would happen. People expect me to
listen.
Make these
I know you're alone at the office right now, and it's probably empty, and you probably have all the lights off, and you're really sad. And if you need somebody to talk to, or if you want to come back up to Nebraska and join the team, you're welcome to.
Oh, you're finally inviting me. Oh, you're finally saying, "Hey, come on up to
I
Nebraska."
I didn't think I had to invite you.
Funny.
It's assumed. If you want to
Interesting.
come up, bring your team, bring your dodgeball team, and we'll play. Come on.
Oh, funny that you're finally saying, "Oh, hey, why don't you come on up? We're having a meeting where we're getting things done." You know, using the big
We're getting
air
things done,
quotes
Carl.
there.
We're getting things done.
Dodgeball.
Yeah, dodgeball. Let's do it.
Yes, I am up first, and I am going to, I have a solid team. I gotta tell you, I love my team. I don't necessarily want to run through them all because you could go to our website, podjamespod.tumblr.com, and we have a dodgeball teams link on the side, and you can look at our dodgeball teams. So I don't want to run through them all, but I have on my team Boris, Solitaire, Cigar Girl, Odd Job, Malacca, and then also I have Timothy Dalton Bond, Sean Connery Bond, Daniel Craig Bond, Pierce Brosnan Bond, and the Earth 2 Sean Connery Bond. So I have 5 James Bonds. And then a great set of other players. And I just, boy, I don't know. Do I want to replace anybody? Is there anybody in A View to a Kill who's worth replacing one of these awesome players on my team? I don't know. And I'll tell you who
You have a not too bad team. Not too bad.
I have a not too bad. This team is not too bad. Here is who I am considering. There is a bit part. He is the guard of General Gogol, the Russian general. His name is Vens, and he is played by Dolph Lundgren. This is Dolph Lundgren's first appearance in a film. And I think, man, would I love to have Dolph Lundgren on my team? I mean, your entire team would look at Dolph Lundgren and just cower in fear at Dolph Lundgren.
Would they? Are you telling me Necros would be scared of Dolph Lundgren?
Who would not be scared of Dolph Lundgren?
Sylvester Stallone.
Well, but Sylvester Stallone wasn't in no Bond movies, man.
Yet. Spectre is yet to come out. All right. So you're telling me that you want Vens. What qualities, other than the fact that he's Dolph Lundgren?
What more qualities does he need other than he's Dolph Lundgren?
I just feel like you're setting yourself up for disaster here. So remind me, what scene is this? Set this up. Where does he come into play here?
He's there. He's there.
I don't even remember remember seeing.
Look,
that.
I'm gonna leave my team as is. I really don't. I look at my team. I have somebody who's invincible. I have someone who can see the future. I have Cigar Girl, and then I have Odd Job, the second greatest dodgeball player of all the Bond movies. And I have Malacca, who's great at parkour. You can't hit this guy. You cannot hit him. The only person who can't hit him on my team. So I'm not going to change. I'm just telling you. I considered Dolph Lundgren. There you go. Team is staying as is. Who do you want?
I'm highly considering Mayday in this film. I mean, she's got great aim with the butterfly, fishing nets, fishing pole. Fishing line. She's willing to sacrifice herself for the team, for the greater good.
Yeah, but she's gonna turn on you. She's gonna be on my team suddenly for no reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. And then I was also thinking of Zoran, and how he could genetically or with steroids help my team, help the shark, help the octopus.
Wait, is that what you want? Is that what you're getting into? You're getting into steroids now? I'm pretty sure Lisa Prentice would not approve of that.
Listen, I considering
I will write Lisa Prentice right now, and I'll ask
Lisa Prentice,
are steroids allowed on dodgeball teams? And I will tell you she's probably not going to allow it.
So I'm not taking Zoran. So I also have a fantastic team, a better team, if you will. So I have Q. I have
Yeah,
Roger
we
Moore
don't need
Bond.
to really go through.
I have the,
so
I have the best
That's
Bond.
it for Dodgeball.
Roger Moore Bond is
No,
the best Bond.
we don't need to go
Clearly,
through it. We don't really need to.
I have-
They're
I have
all on the
Necros.
website, so listeners can go
I have
to
Twin
the website
Knife Thrower #1,
and they can
Mishka.
read for
I have
themselves who
Octopus.
is on your team. There's no
I
need to
have
go through
the
it.
Aston Martin V12 Vanquish. I have Knick-Knack. I have a stealth
Yeah,
boat.
everyone.
I have the
listening
shark. I
Can
have
see that for
Fatima Blush.
themselves.
And I'm saying nobody from this movie deserves to be on my dodgeball team. So I am also declining to draft anybody from this movie or any prior movie because my team is solid.
I'll tell you right now, if we edited this show, I would have edited all that out. But since editing is dishonest, I guess it's staying in.
All right, so I think I think that we're making history. This is the first time neither of us have drafted somebody onto our team. So the dodgeball segment. Sorry, fans, a little boring this month, but guess what? It's boring because we just have two solid teams, or at least my team is solid.
Well, we have
and
got
Carlin
one
just
solid
can't
team
figure
on
out how to
my
make his
side.
team better. So, Carlin, where would you put A View to a Kill in your tier system? Would you put it in the top, the middle, or the bottom?
Well, I opened up this episode right off the bat as we began talking about James Bond, this movie, and nothing else. I said early on I really hated this movie, but I have greatly softened up on this movie. I genuinely enjoy lots of different parts about it. I think Patrick Macnee is great, as I've said. The score is good. The Zorin is great, as he's a great Bond villain. I cannot place it in my top tier. There's enough about it that I don't like. The snowboard, Beach Boys stuff, the fire truck
Listen,
chase.
you forget
where they're,
about
like
that.
the ladder. The fire truck chase just.
You didn't like the Sheriff Pepper inspired police officer?
Nobody cuts and runs on Sheriff J.W. Pepper. Sheriff Pepper.
I felt
There
like
was
I felt like it harkened back a little bit to Sheriff Pepper.
No, I did not. I did not like that. That there was some things that just went a little too crazy in that scene for me, for my tastes. I didn't like Tanya Rice. So some of the stuff we already gone over. So I'm gonna say middle for me.
I am putting this in my top.
Oh,
It's a
of course.
solid top movie.
Solid top
for me.
movie. Yeah, all the things I say that make it not top worthy. You're like, yeah, that's top. Yeah. Tanya Roberts isn't that great of a Bond girl.
Listen, there's enough in here. I think this is Roger Moore's best film. I think
Thunderballs
this
is in the bottom. Okay, that makes
Yes,
that makes perfect
absolutely.
sense. View to a Kill.
This is
top film.
This to me,
Thunderball bottom. Great. Yeah, I picked the right person to do this podcast with. Sheesh.
This to me is Roger Moore's best film. I think it's his best villain, one of the best villains.
I'll tell
I
you
think
what. No.
John Glenn, who directed most of Roger Moore's films, I think it's Goodnight and Mayday difference between his For Your Eyes Only directorial debut and between this. He gotten so much better. There's a lot to like in this movie. I'm
I
putting
agree.
it in my top.
There's a lot to like. That's why it meant.
Listen, in
it's the
every
middle.
Bond
It's
movie,
not-
especially Connery and Moore's, well, every Bond film, there you gotta just forgive some. If you can't forgive some things in Bond movies, then there's no way you can be a Bond fan. There's just no way. You gotta go along with it. And it's whether or not it's too much for you to handle or not enough. And for me, this wasn't too much for me to handle. I could go along with it for the most part. Even the Beach Boy stuff, whatever. It's the beginning of the movie. By the end of the movie, I completely forgot about the Beach Boy stuff. I mean, I didn't, but I can. I'm not even thinking about that anymore. I think this is a solid Roger Moore film. I think this is his best film. And if I can't put a Bond character's best film in my top, I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay. All right. Boat makeout scene.
Boat makeout scene. Nada.
I mean, not at the end.
No, not at the end.
Yeah.
At the beginning, yes. But
Doesn't
that's
count.
not what we're talking about.
Yeah,
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count.
So, unfortunately, no boat makeout scene. If it had a boat makeout scene, would that have put it in your top?
No. Let me tell you what might have helped. What might have helped. And this is, I think, a good
Something other than
segue.
what you've already talked about?
Yes, this is I think a good segue to what we want to talk about next.
A good segue, like you're writing a segue?
Yeah, the
Okay.
agent, the
Just around
Russian
your
agent
office by
that
yourself?
Bond meets up.
Are you
with,
spending our funds that way? Are you buying segways?
I'm not buying Segways.
Just driving around our office?
I bought one Segway. I'm not buying multiple Segways.
One? You didn't buy one for Kevin? Kevin Hart?
No, I didn't.
The
buy
janitor,
Kevin,
not the
Kevin's
comedian?
not here. Remember, he's not here anymore.
I know, but back when he was, you didn't buy him a Segway?
No.
That's probably why he left.
Can I continue?
Oh, were you talking?
Yeah, I was trying to make a point.
About time.
So at
Guys, just a couple more minutes, okay? Go ahead, I'm waiting.
Okay. So at one point in the movie, he meets up with a Russian agent. Bond does. Do you recall this?
Yeah, I already explained how I recall this movie very well.
Okay. Would it not have been cool
The only time I don't recall is Ven's Dolph Lundgren.
if the agent he'd met up with, and clearly he has some relationship with her, but we've never seen her before, but wouldn't it have been cool if it had been Agent Triple X from The Spy Who Loved Me?
Oh,
Barbara
that would've been
Bach.
great.
And wouldn't it have been great if it had been Barbara
That would
Bach?
have been great.
Do you think then the next movie we should talk about is The Spy Who Loved Me and finish up with Roger Moore?
Let's wrap up Roger Moore's catalog of films with The Spy Who Loved Me.
All right, next
I
time.
think that's a great idea.
0025. So hopefully, if we're on the path we're on, I'm hoping that we'll get to 4 million downloads next episode, and we'll be at 6 million by the episode after. So let's try and bring our A game next time.
Try. I bring nothing but my A game.
And I'm looking forward to seeing what you and your team does. Okay. Well, I guess
like
I'll
your
let you
snark.
get back to your work.
Finally. Okay, guys.
Hey, bye, Carl.
Okay. All right,
Bye.
Colin. Thanks for talking.
Guys, nice talking to you.
We'll
Thanks for all your ideas.
be on the lookout for some
good.
materials we may or may not send your way.
Talk to you
No,
later.
you need
Thanks
to
for
send
the
those to me. You need
thanks
to
for
send
the
those to me.
commercial idea. Thanks a lot. I think we might go in a different direction, but
Nice to meet you.
it's pretty good. Okay, talk to you later. Thanks, Colin. Bye.